Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
so that'd be,
Yeah.
well, welcome, Gavin.
Wow.
So, this is your chance to speak a little while. So, call the meeting to order. Can I have you please stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, in case the rest of the board doesn't know, Gavin Bowers is our new student rep, and we'll give you a chance to speak about the musical. So, to accept this evening's agenda, Linda? Danny? All in favor? Aye. Personnel section of the consent agenda, I need a motion to approve the minutes from the prior meeting. Okay, moving on to the personnel section itself. I need a motion. All in favor? I'm happy. Oh, sorry. If you raise your hand. All in favor? Sorry. All in favor? Aye. All right then, the remainder of the consent agenda, we have several items on there. There's a couple that you may or may not be familiar with, one of which is a donation of an old bus to the, is it the state police?
Yes.
Typically, buses of this age, you saw the photograph, don't have much value, but they're going to use it to transport troopers with, right?
I believe they're going to do some training with as well.
Training as well. Also, we have a approval of the rental for our buses for transportation for the Strawberry Fest. And just two items that are not commonly in the consent agenda. So, I need a motion on this portion of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Danny?
Second.
Linda? Any questions, comments? We do. They pay for our expenses. Yeah, they do. They reimburse us. No, they reimburse us. Any other questions? Comments? All in favor? Aye. That's carried as well. We have a couple presentations tonight, right, Mr. Green?
We do.
So I do not have a present report. I'm going to turn this over to you for.
Yeah, just real quickly before we get to the reports, I just want to commend our music department, our students, and our staff, and the community that took part in putting all that together. It was really just a tremendous weekend, outstanding show. If you didn't get a chance to see it, you really missed out, and I'm sure we have it videoed somewhere. But really, what a fine job, and every year it just gets better and better. I don't know how they top it, but they seem to do it, so congratulations.
Without stealing Gavin's fire, I have to.
Yeah, we'll let them.
I know Gavin wants to talk about it, but I have to say, and I know this, Linda went through, it was wonderful. It really was. It just blew me away. So.
The other piece too, which I know Mr. Helmick will probably talk a little bit more, but our scholar athletes really just tremendous job this winter. And 3, 4, 5, 6 of our teams were scholar athletes. And upwards of the middle 90s averages. I don't have the exact, I have them on my email, but really tremendous job by our scholar athletes as well. So moving on from that, we do have a couple of great presentations, and the first one we have, which is about the land bank and the Wego-Appalachian Central School District partnership. To talk about the agreement with the land bank and really what they're aiming to do. Turn it over to you, Mr. Bailey.
I promised Mr. Creeley I'd do most of the talking. Yeah. So we had the opportunity to down on Liberty Street. It's part of a larger DRI project. They're bulldozing one whole side of that block. It hasn't rehabbed since the flood. A lot of the houses are still condemned on the one side, and they didn't really have it in their budget to demo that. But when we got in talks with them, we were able to secure funds so that to purchase the house and have the our students will rehab the house completely. We worked with Land Bank, Teresa Scarano, who's now retired, and now Brittany Woodburn. They both worked very hard in making this happen. So Brittany worked hard for us and for the county to secure funds through the Floyd Hooker Foundation. Once again, is supporting us in this. Got a pretty sizable grant, enough to purchase the home, which will be in the name of the land bank, so that the school doesn't have to purchase it. You guys all know the details that would have to go along with that. So it'll be land bank owned, and then there's an agreement, an MOU between us and them for our students to work on the property. And when it's all done, hopefully all costs will be rehabbed by both parties, and then move forward to the next project. And really looking forward to the idea of being able to do that throughout the community. These guys have done some great things around here. They built a tiny home and things like that, but it's really a chance for them to do something within the community that 10, 12, 15 years down the road will still have an impact on the community, and they'll be able to come back and see it and point that out to their kids down the road, what they worked on, and that, all those sort of things. We have businesses starting to show interest in partnering with us. We've already gone, and I've had several meetings with Home Central, who is willing to work with the kids and really try to help with the process and help walk the kids through that process of designing the kitchen or remodels or things like that on a little bit deeper level, and help our students as if they were the contractors to learn some of those skills that go along with such rehabs and things like that. So it's a pretty exciting opportunity, another opportunity for our kids, and we just, from the program perspective, want to thank you for all the support to be able to go out and let our kids, have these opportunities that aren't happening everywhere. Alex is here. Alex is one of our seniors in the building trades program. I don't know if he has much to say, but he's here to answer any questions you guys have. And Mr. Creeley as well. So shoot away at them.
Any questions we can answer for you?
Well, one thing Mr. Daly mentioned, which kind of struck me, is this another opportunity, perhaps, for architectural programs, perhaps in the future? I mean, I know, we're talking about building skills here, but could we be possibly looking in the future of teaching our kids architectural skills so that they could do their own architectural designs for future homes? So
yeah, it is, and actually one of the next things, Mr. Creeley wants to check all the boxes there. So we did the tiny home, and now we're doing rehabbing a home, and before we even got anything, we're not even done signing things on this. He's already talking about, well, what if we do a new construction next time, which would be the ultimate opportunity for kids to work. And that would be a goal as we move forward with our pathways, career pathways, and that sort of thing. The goal would be for a kid to work hand in hand with an architecture firm. We could design things here, but they could really bring it to the next level as far as how to do things to get approved and stamped and all that sort of thing. So definitely in the future, with a remodel, there's some level of that, but that would definitely be the case if we were going to do a new build where a kid could go from scratch and really learn all those things. So yeah, those are some things that we have in the works, but with Mr. Carney, our engineering teacher, would work hand in hand with this program, and hopefully then build that into, we've also, I don't want to jump way ahead, but I've talked to the land bank a little bit. They own a lot of that land in that area, about potentially in the future, they have a couple open lots, and maybe our heavy equipment program who's going in and building like a little park, something like that. So there's a lot of ideas floating around right now, so this won't be the end of it, the partnership between us and the land bank or the county entities, really trying to do some things with our programs and get our kids out into the community.
What are you looking forward to doing in that home you're going to remodel?
It'd be really exciting kind of project, and just kind of.
Like carpentry or?
I like woodworking. I'd rather stay in that.
Wonderful.
So a program like this, when you remodel.
Right now we are from 9 to 11 o'clock.
Okay.
And then I have a Building Trades 1 program that is from 1 to 3. There's potential that we might be able to come in earlier in the morning and I think put 2 hours extra in, is that?
Yeah, we're talking about pushing that, and there's some other things enrichment-wise to push that back. We were talking about potentially pushing that back with the select group from maybe 7 to 11. So they would put 4 hours in during that time frame. And if we push it to that, there's also other opportunities.
Programs take a lot of planning on your part, and the districts. I think it's a fantastic program. I love hearing about it. I brag about it all the time. So often we have kids going off to college and they come home and they're not really ready to work. Where these guys are going to be ready to work when they get out of high school. What a fantastic opportunity.
Well, we thank you for giving us that opportunity. It's, with this opportunity, it gives them a chance to succeed and get a job right out of high school.
And are you gonna be letting the kids work with code enforcement or? when
Yep,
come in?
they will be involved hand in hand with everything that we do. So when code enforcers there, they will be involved in that. Just
Now,
make,
would there be some work, for example, electrical, that you would have to contract out, or will the kids be trained to do everything?
no, we will be trained. We'll train them to do everything.
Fantastic.
So,
They'll still get inspected.
right.
You know,
we'll have
have an
an
electrical
inspector.
inspector, but the kids, the kids would do all the plumbing and electrical and,
So what else is going, all of the programs we're looking to bring back to this like electrical and plumbing, is that something we can?
this program does is building trades, so he incorporates all.
Good plumbing work done.
Did you say that out loud, Ray?
Yeah, we'll talk after.
Mr. Grill, or Dale, did you say that this particular property was in the floodplain? Or, so, are you considering raising the house, or?
It's an exit. It get into the first floor.
It did not?
It did not. It got in the basement. So we're gonna move
All the mechanics.
all the mechanicals upstairs.
Okay. Any other mitigations? Well, you can't do that. You don't have,
Right.
if they're just green properties, it's one thing, but if it's somebody's home, right? Okay, so you're not gonna actually get into raising the home,
No.
at least not this particular.
Correct.
Do you ever see?
Most of their properties, then it would be built on a raised thing. I don't know if we're ever gonna get into actually raising an existing home. That's quite a specialty.
It is. I actually talked to somebody that's done a couple of them, they've done.
Yeah.
It's amazing what they do.
Yeah. No.
Still,
So
I have, between both classes, right around 20.
And part of it will be going through material costs and,
Yes, they'll,
And just for the record, Mr. Whipple was only kidding. Taking one for Danny, okay.
Yeah.
Every time we do something new, it's just great to hear it, so we'd love to do that.
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
Yeah, anytime you want to stop by, check out the finished, tiny one. You can
Where
do
is it?
too. It's up in the maintenance building.
Yeah. So that'll actually, and we're end of May, beginning of June. The tiny home will be displayed down at Home Central. Would you like to buy it?
No, but my wife might. She watches too much HD.
Yeah. So the ultimate goal would be to sell it. We believe that now it's a date or whatever, but we'd like to find somewhere around during Strawberry Fest to display it.
Well, that'd be
And
great, yeah.
the Home Central, it's Contractors Week that we're doing it, and they do a yard sale weekend. They're trying to explain to me, and they thought that would be a great weekend to have it down there, and we'll have the kids down there to answer questions and things like that.
Yeah,
So
that'd be great.
our goal is to get through that point so people can see, and then probably, eventually it does have to go somewhere other than just sitting up with the maintenance building.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I just want to say, these guys are go-getters. They're out there looking for projects and different things that they can do, different experiences that they can get for their kids. So it's all them. They're doing a great job. We really appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good night.
Okay, thanks guys. It's gonna be exciting to watch about. I'm sure we'll have some type of documentary to go with that along the way as well. So, next presentation we have is from our school psychologists who are here tonight to kind of talk about the world that they live in and things that they do. So we have, you guys want to come on up?
Sure. So my name is Taylor Harris. I am the intern school psychologist. I primarily work at Wego Elementary, but I also do some work over at Appalachian. So I'm just going to go over the general overview of what school psychologists in general do. So we provide both direct and indirect services to students. Now, we can't build tiny houses, but we can build student self-esteem. We do a lot of consultation with teachers, families, administrative staff, really to support students in various ways. We do this through counseling, testing, getting in conversations with outside agencies to provide supports to students. We promote academic achievement, provide mental health supports. Given the many roles that we do within the school setting, it's recommended that there's one school psychologist per 500 students. And Kelsey and Robin will both touch on the more narrow roles that we specify teams to provide interventions and really reduce the number of unnecessary special education referrals and really work with students to promote that academic achievement before classification occurs. So I'll let Kelsey start.
Hi, my name is Kelsey Jenks. I've been a school psychologist for this is my 12th year. I've been a school psychologist, this is my 5th year here at Owego. Just as Taylor said, and this PowerPoint provides the roles and responsibilities and also the skills and knowledge of school psychologists varies pretty significantly. A lot of our roles depends on the needs of the school. Our role in intellectual and academic assessments, we, and these assessments are in response to like initial requests that are usually made by parents, sometimes building level teams, in some situations maybe outside providers like physicians. We review these, referrals at times, and if there isn't enough data and information or maybe additional interventions or supports can be provided, they may be rescinded, and then we'll provide that additional support if the parent agrees. We also provide these assessments in response to once every 3 years, students who are classified and receive an individual education program, they get a reevaluation once every 3 years to meet New York State special education requirements. These evaluations are pretty extensive at times. They can take anywhere between 1 to 3 hours. It requires a lot of coordination and planning and flexibility with teachers. And you're also working around and with our related service providers like our physical therapists, occupational therapists, and speech therapists as well. So it's a lot of collaboration with teachers. We also utilize these assessments too to not just identify or classify students, but this year we've been using them to pinpoint or target areas that we can help guide interventions. And so it's more of a proactive or preventative effort. And we've been taking that and utilizing it a lot in our response to intervention teams. And these teams consist of teachers and again, those related service providers. And we work hand in hand with them to help students close achievement gaps or make make gains academic progress. And we also do the same to meet kids' social, emotional, and behavior needs as well. This helps, prevent the overclassification of our students. It also provides a lot of support. And we also receive a lot of case-by-case, students or referrals or teacher responding to crisis and situations. Some of this becomes difficult at times because we're also called into a lot of meetings. We chair CSE meetings at building level teams. And those can sometimes, we may be in those 2 times a week. They can be up to 5 hours. A lot of different areas. So it's a lot of, but like I said, this year we're really focusing and with the preventative and proactive pieces, more engagement on the response and intervention team. We also became more involved with our student wellness and success teams and working with them, and also providing resources and supports to teachers to help with classroom management and also identify character traits that we'd like to see in our students to promote success and wellness. And that's my part.
Is that all?
Yeah, sorry.
I'm Robin Wood. This is my 16th year, 17th if you count my internship, but this is my 22nd year doing this job. So I'm going to jump to our last slide. I'm just going to talk about kind of what we do in this district versus more globally. So historically, up to the last 30 years until this year, OACSD has employed 3 full-time school psychologists. This year, one of ours left. We were fortunate enough to have Taylor as an intern. We perform, as Kelsey said, all the psychoeducational evaluations K through 12, which is on a good year, at least 200. We chair all the Committee on Special Education subcommittee meetings, so every student who has an IEP gets a meeting at least once a year that we chair. We attend all other CSE meetings that are chaired by Dr. Benedum. We help organize and participate in all UPK and kindergarten counseling, consultation, collaboration with parents, physicians, outside agencies, and outside psychological providers. We provide a lot of crisis intervention, both behavioral and social emotional, as well as additional social emotional support, behavioral supports. We write all formalized behavioral intervention plans and support students from outside placements, including BOCES and residential. So our job is broad. So we just wanted to kind of share. I think sometimes people don't know what we do. We chair meetings and we test kids, but there's a lot more that we do and can do. So we just wanted to kind of share that with everybody. So are there questions?
As you can see, they wear many hats. We're certainly thankful for that. Obviously, working with several different students across the entire district and intervening and working with staff frequently, so it's a really, really important position for our school district. So thank you guys for what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right. So now we'll move to the public comment section of our agenda. I have several folks here that would like to speak. Patty, do you want to go first? And could I please ask you guys to stick with the 2 minutes?
Try. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Okay, so I, with others, have a deep concern with a progressive agenda that has been pushed to another level in our schools. Up until just recently, the people had not a clue really what was going on behind the scenes in the schools. Now, in equity, inclusion, social, emotional learning. Using COVID money, the progressive agenda is now pushed through the schools using taxpayers' funding. Teachers don't need more programs to add to what they already are. That's part of their job, I think. So I stand with many concerned parents, grandparents, taxpayers, and board members to please hear our ask to turn our education system around. These children are our future. Our schools are saying no to these programs. We're asking you to say, other schools are saying no to these programs, sorry. We're asking you into our schools. Our kids are worth fighting for. We will be here as long as we need to be. We know what's best for our kids. We don't want government interfering with what they think is best. So these are some real concerns from the community members, and I stand for them and ask the board to listen to our voices, please. Service centers, please consider any more of this push on these programs to end. Thank you.
Thank you. Britta?
Hi, I'm Brita Terry. I just wanted to say it was very much appreciated when I've got kids at AES. We got an email from Mr. Beatty, and I don't know who else was involved, but just giving us more info on the library situation that I know some of us were concerned about. I talked to my child's teacher about it in the fall at parent-teacher conversation. I look forward to their capital project being completed and their being able to be a library again. I know my kids, for one, love books, love to check out books, love to get more knowledge about books. So I think, I don't know if it wasn't in the foresight to have that. I know having the pandemic and everything like threw everybody under, more stress and unnormal circumstances. So I think if we got the email beforehand, that would have just been helpful, but we did appreciate getting all that info this last week. I just had a quick question I hadn't planned on asking, but is, because I have kids who have an IEP and a 504, is the hours of the intern enough to provide them with a support, since they used to have a 3 full-time psychologists and now we just have 2 and the intern is that compensate for now?
Because she's full-time.
Okay.
We'll have to take a look at that and let's see.
Okay, great, good, because like you said, they do wear a lot of hats and I was concerned for them. And just lastly, I was wondering if you guys have any like concrete and proactive steps that you could share with us as the board superintendent that you are currently taking to try to get the control like out of the hands of the government and back at the local district and the local schools, so we don't feel so under the strain of whatever the government says, but we know that our district is very different than those down in the city or wherever throughout the state of New York. So that was one of my main questions.
Well, it's a good question, and it's a question that's been asked many times, and I think that it's pretty. My answer has been in the past, and it still is. I mean, we as a school board are not empowered to go against what's directed down from Albany. Okay, it comes down. The commissioner has powers to, if we were to say we're not doing this, they have ways to make sure that we do it. They can remove the superintendent, remove the entire school board if we don't do what they ask us to do. It's that simple. Mm-hmm. They have that power. I don't think people realize that. So it's not something that I would see happening across the state, because I don't think there's a school district in New York State that feels any differently than we do. And all of you should know that every board member on this board has their own feelings on this as well. It's not like we don't agree with a lot of the things that you say, but our own beliefs really don't matter. We swear an oath to follow the laws in New York State every year, and we have to do that. It's just part of our job. So I know that's not what you want to hear.
Oh, I just wondered if there's any way for you to give feedback, whether it's like, we are hearing this from our constituents, we're hearing this from our school districts, we want to push back, we're still going to follow what you say, but we want to speak out that this is not, we're not happy with what's going on kind of thing. Do they take your feedback in any way, like if you respond somewhere?
We expressed our, we had the legislative committee, the legislative meeting just, a week ago Friday. And believe me, they got an earful.
Okay, great.
So the school districts are every bit as frustrated, I have to say, as most of you folks are. Thank you. So, I didn't pick Barbara, okay?
Yes. Good evening and thank you. I'm really happy to hear about the meeting that you had with the legislators. Thank you for representing us and taking the ideas and the comments. Most of us don't understand how all of this structure works and what the steps are to get information to where we feel it needs to be and have our... I'm just above here. Oh, okay. So if you didn't get to the play, you really missed something totally amazing. I was completely blown away. Just the quality of the performance and the costuming, the choreography was great. I'm excited to hear about the egg and that it's something really, really strongly needed. So I'm fully in support of that. And I'd like to thank Mr. Farrell also for his presentation last week. I learned a lot about the capital project and it was out, but myself and a number of the neighbors that I spoke to out on the south side are not getting that. How is that distributed?
Oh, budget newsletter?
No.
What's going on every couple of months from the district.
Yep, I'm on that.
Yep. And
Is
you'll
that
get-
your highlight, superintendent?
Yep, that would go on there.
Okay.
Everything goes on there. So it's one central place that you can gain all the access.
Budget information didn't come until like the day or 2 days after the budget vote, so maybe that needs to be addressed with
Yeah.
the post office or
Yeah, so-
the powers that be. We're having a lot of trouble with mail. There was a great presentation last week about Appalachian Elementary and some of the project that's going on there. Would there be any possibility to have a tour, a progress, you know, this is how far we are, this is what we anticipate?
Near future here that we're done with these and we can bring people in to see the buildings and see what's been updated. Yeah, so we have plans to do that here in the next
Great.
couple months.
Yeah, I think that would be a good community
Yeah,
relations.
I agree.
Thank you so much.
That's everyone. Perhaps now, again, would be a good
I
time
didn't
to
know I
let,
was supposed to set up. Can I speak for half a second?
if you could give us your name and address, please.
Sure, Tracy Potter. We wrote the musical, and I just, after the musical, I often come see you. So thank you all for coming and supporting it. I am just a community volunteer. My daughter graduated a few years ago, and department for letting the music department use the whole middle school. Having that gym available for people to wait in, for the cast to do their meet and greet and the families to wait in, it felt so much safer coming out of, we did a little match shuffle there. So I hope in the future that can always be the way, because it was much more peaceful there. And obviously with and then, as usual, it being a ticketed event, I always bring up, I hope that money can get funded or funneled right back into the music department, because they always see. I know it takes a whole lot of money to put that on to the level that they do, and they do an amazing job. So I just wanted to point out those couple little things that are made, or they made this better every year. And I know our boosters meeting is tomorrow, but we'll probably be helping with whatever else like you usually do to the extra costs and usually.
Really, please, whatever. Yeah, we're gonna go to Gavin. Okay. Hopefully they didn't take all of your time.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I know a lot of people have already talked about the musical a lot already, and thank you everyone who was able to come up and see what we were able to put on. We had 3 great shows this past weekend that we were able to put on for the community to come out and to be able to share that experience and all the stuff that we've been working on. It was such a great experience because there's about like 70 people in all and that's not even counting the pit. I am baffled by how they are able to memorize an entire show of music because I'm not in a band, and so they do such a great job with that as well. And we have kids that are able to also do stuff, the stage crew as well to help as well, and the community members that come in. There's people that don't even have kids in the musical and another portion of the house that was getting wheeled on and off stage. I mean, we would have like part the seas behind backstage every time that house came on and off. It was just phenomenal, but it was a great experience to have. There's nothing like it. You get all these kids, and a lot of them, they haven't really done anything like this. Dance moves, doing a bunch of super letters and stuff, and I think it's just a really great. Thank you guys for letting us be able to have that experience and put it on for the community to enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you. I have to tell you, I was looking around the audience.
Imagine that, we had a whole floor.
Just started clapping and it was and I actually learned how to sing a different song, please. Anyway.
You were awesome.
Oh, thank you.
You were.
Yeah,
The whole crew was just
It
wonderful.
was I can't say enough about it.
No.
I went all 3 days. Mrs. Wood was a huge part of that. Her daughter had a lead part. I can't say enough about our music department. It is just absolutely fabulous. Second to none.
I agree. It's awesome. Yeah. It really was. I know I left in a lot better mood than when I walked in. I really did. I didn't even mind the crowd. You know, it was like, we're sitting in there like this because it was packed. It was, you know, and you guys deserved that crowd. It was wonderful. So thank you for all of your hard work.
Thank you.
They also had a show on Friday for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders from both elementary schools.
Oh, they must have loved it.
Forever coming months.
When Mary came flying across the stage, all the kids, they went
I would have loved to see that. Yeah. I'll bet they went nuts. That's great. That's great. I'm glad they got a chance to see it. That's wonderful. Okay then. Well, again, welcome, Jen. So, I guess we'll talk to our administrators, but sure, so we didn't forget him again. Ryan, why don't we do Ryan?
Sure.
Ryan, you're over there.
Thanks. Mr. Green kind of already spoke to this, but always certainly very proud of our athletes and what they're doing. Having 75% of the roster with an average of above 90. So, you know, that's pretty impressive when you look at the amount of hours and time they're putting in after school. Some are involved in musicals and all these other things, and they're doing, you know, well in the classroom. So that's something to be very proud of. Our winter seasons are actually wrapping up. Just a couple of highlights from this past weekend and some things to look forward to. We had Rayanne Craft for the first time. Section 4 hosted a female wrestling championship at 118 pounds. Rayanne Craft won the Section 4 championship for girls. So accomplishment, something to be proud of for our district as an 8th grader. So more future success to come there. Our bowling team, just last weekend, I think, don't quote me on this, but it's been over 25 years, but they just won stacks. So they are the division champs, and our boys varsity bowling with an upset over Corning to win stack championship. They are continuing this weekend, and they are going to be in the section championships, and we're hoping to bring home another Section 4 title for them. So we got a lot going on. Seeding meeting for varsity boys basketball for sectionals. Hopefully a home game for them. They're looking to be the number 2 seed heading into sectionals. That won the division, and they are hosting a home game 5:30 against Maine Endwell. And that is for the stack JV semifinal. Hopefully a win to go to the championship. So it's been busy, but a lot of really positives coming out of it. Heading into spring, starting today was our open registration through Family ID, and I know we put information out on the website and through our OA app, so you can start signing up for our spring sports, which starts March 14th. Looking forward to using our new facilities and the great stuff we have going. So always thank you guys for your support, and looking forward to what we have coming.
Thanks, Ryan. Francisco.
Good evening, everyone. Valentine's Day here. We had a busy day at OAMS and OFA from our floral design classes, distributed flower arrangements that they made to faculty members today, to junior class having a carnation sale and delivering those carnations to the high school students, and even some candy grams from our middle school student council that were also delivered today. It was a busy day, lots of balloons and other items coming in, but a good day. Wanted to let you know this Wednesday we're going to have our winter induction ceremony for National Honor Society. We have 5 new members coming in this year in terms of the winter mid-year selection. And our mathalon team is, sorry Phil, preparing for their competition next month down in Waverly. Kids are excited, they're working hard after school, but they're preparing for their mathalon competition.
All right, thanks. Should I skip Phil now?
I got a few more things.
Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, AS and OAS, they've been meeting a couple times a week as well for Mathlon, as long as with the 6th graders. So that's been going well. They're excited to have that back. Absolutely loved going over to the auditorium last week and seeing the play. The kids did a phenomenal job. They're still singing in the classrooms because of it. They had a great time with that. And I do want to mention Carrie Hedinger, one of our teachers in the OES, has just been selected as a New York State Master Teacher for our Southern Tier cohort. So that's really great news for her. We're going to be going to Binghamton University beginning of March. They're doing a breakfast for that, so she's been honored for that as well, which is good news.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Mr. B's hiding in the front row. I almost didn't see you. Have a good day?
I had a great day. So I just want to ask the public and remind the public that February 25th is the father-daughter dance at Appalachian. I know this is a huge event for fathers and daughters. There's a lot of little girls really looking forward to it. And I just remind the public, if there's anybody who hasn't signed up for it yet or heard about it, please call the office and we'll get you there. And then lastly, I'd like to speak to both buildings. We have 3 opportunities for people at the end of the day. They can go home with our buses, they can have their parents pick them up, or they can stay on our after-school care. And I'd like to request for both AES and OES parents to please only make changes when absolutely necessary. To change and to do it early in the day if they may, before noon. It really takes a lot of work for us to get kids in the right place. So if they don't have to make changes, we'd really appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay then. Well, thank you everyone. With that, I need a motion to adjourn. Yeah? Jason? All in favor? Aye. It's carried. Have a good night, everyone.